Hello, everyone. This is Jansen from Team CELLebrate. I will be discussing the tutorial for boards number 1. I've been with LifeWave since January of 2023, and I was always searching for the perfect way to share information with my downline, which has grown to over 2,000 people. We already had so many options out there, like literally 1,000 videos on YouTube and Telegram and Facebook pages and websites. It was just too much information and quite overwhelming for new people when they started. So I was looking for that answer. And I was thinking, oh, another website, but then again, that was another website. So when boards was brought to my attention, I thought this is really the answer because we can just put a small amount of information for people to get started, and then you can explore the other options that we have. So that's what we have here. And this boards tutorial number 1 is for non-business building. It's for just getting to know the patches and some protocols and some other things about using the patches. So this is what our board currently looks like, and it may change a little bit as we find more information. The information I'll share with you on boards tutorial number 1 is for people who are just starting to learn about LifeWave patches. There's nothing about business building in this tutorial. That is in number 2. Begin with start here. And then we're going to go to documents. The health tracker is pretty important to keep up because you want to be able to know if you are improving or not. Some people have amazing results on day 1, and that's kind of a miracle, of course, and it's called a one-patch wonder. Of course, we all want that, but obviously it's not going to always happen. And so it helps if you have a health tracker to see how things are progressing. So you want to fill this out. You can fill it out yourself or with your sponsor. And you want to put as much information on here as you can so that you can be seeing how your body is healing as you go along this journey. Because sometimes we forget about things that are getting better, out of sight, out of mind idea. So you want to put the numbers 1 to 10 here. In this first box, 10 is excellent. So 10 is the highest one. And write those things. If there's something that we don't have on here, then just keep adding that. So for example, your sleep quality is at a 5. It is a 6. Your mental clarity, a lot of people have brain fog. And so you might put a 3 or a 4 on there. Your energy and stamina, etc. Or if you have some other things you want to add. And on the bottom, number 1 would be better. So the lower the number, the better. So what's your pain, your inflammation, your headaches, mood swings, and anything else that you want to do. And so write those things down before you start the patches, then 24 hours later, and then once a week to help you see your progress. Then I have added some other ways to track. If you are tracking your cholesterol readings over a period of time, or if you want to track your blood pressure readings, or list your current medications. It would be awesome if we could help you lower your dosage of medication or even get off those medications. So that would be your tracker for that. Then this page is one that I made up quite a while ago from some information I saw on Facebook. And I like documents. I like things very neat. So I created this one, and it has the ingredients of the patches. Like some people want to know and some people really don't care to know. But for those who want to know, and you should know because it comes up quite often. So we have these 6 natural ingredients, and you can read them: amino acids, water, stabilized oxygen, sugar, salts. But the important thing is that they create this crystal letter structure. So every patch has the same ingredients. It's just the recipe that David uses to create this crystal lattice structure. And David's genius is really in that formation of the recipe to create that structure, because that structure is when our body heat comes up and bounces off of that. The frequency of which it bounces back is how it's going to affect that different cell. Sometimes people say, oh, there's sugar in here. I have diabetes. How will this affect my diabetes situation? And the answer is, remember, this is non-transdermal. Nothing goes into our skin. The sugar was just used to create that little crust, that hard surface, to be the reflective surface. And then down at the bottom here, we have the topic of photobiomodulation. Photo means light, bio means life, modulation is to change. So using light to change our life. And then this cool picture here is a crystal lattice structure. So I'm a very visual person. So when I found this, I grabbed that. It's like, yes, we need to have this on here. So this would be the X39's crystal lattice structure. The what to expect document is a common one that we see the different things that are going to happen in that short amount of time. So all of these you are able to share when you hit the share button right there. And you can share with anybody who you think would be interested in learning this. So this diagram is one, I grabbed some slides from my PowerPoint presentations that I use. And it has the stem cell. This is a healthy cell. And we're told that the number one indicator of wellness is directly correlated to the number of adult stem cells in the bloodstream. So we want these healthy stem cells in our bloodstream. So this is the genius of what David does, is he's helping us to create healthy stem cells again. And then, of course, we're going to repair quicker. And so here's a replica of the stem cell. It can reduce inflammation. It can get rid of the dead cells. It's self-replicating. And then the beauty is that it can become any of these cells. The body calls our cells to that point of repair. There are a lot of different ways of showing the reduction of these stem cells, the activity in these stem cells. And so I just chose a battery that was all full of energy, and then how a lot of us feel. Maybe 50 and older, we feel a little bit tired a lot. And it's because, of course, that the reduction of the energy inside that stem cell, the GHK, is not moving very quickly. And then, of course, this X39 is rejuvenating that. And then on the bottom, it just talks about how GHK works. Then Dr. Jen has amazing information. Here are some FAQs, like what is attenuation, which means you can't wear the patch constantly because it will no longer be effective. So she goes through a lot of these questions. So we'll come back to these videos. These two videos in the middle here are tips on things you should know, 10 tips on getting started with the patches. And the other one is common mistakes you make. So make sure you watch those so you don't have to fall into the pitfalls of some common mistakes you might make. When it's time to reorder, you'll want to look at how you get to your back office and then watch the video on how to buy more patches. So testimonials, again, very powerful. If you know of somebody who has an animal that has an issue, you might want to send this. Something from the cats, something from the horses, dogs. I went pretty specific here because there seem to be a lot of them. And these are just stories. And you can send, sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's a picture. Like here, there's some symptoms of dogs. So I find interesting things, I just put them on. If you're going to patch your pet, like where would you put it? And this is a picture of putting it on the collar and then putting it on the dog. Just little tidbits to give you. So again, this has a lot of testimonies in here, and this is going to continue to develop as I see more things I find of interest. So always check here for some testimonials. Electrolytes, we promote electrolytes a lot, so I put information on here on that. Here are the foods that you want to eat to have more electrolytes, and again, you can send that picture. Here's electrolyte information. If you're nerdy and really like to read, there's your information. I am nerdy and I like to read. Then here's some analysis between water and electrolytes, another thing to read. And then Dr. Berg's powder is the one that I currently use because I want 1,000 milligrams of potassium because we're very low in potassium. And I drink 2 of these a day, needs 4,700 milligrams of potassium. So you want to figure out how to get that amount of potassium. And then here's a 2-minute video on hydration. Detoxing, Dr. Stillman has a video on detoxing, and then detoxing symptoms. And then salt, this is always such a topic to talk about. People tell you low salt. We say, yes, you should use salt because we need the minerals that are inside the salts. These particular salts, Himalayan, gray, pink, and then real salt, another one that's not on here, they have lots of minerals in them. And it's the minerals that our cells need. And the water transports those minerals into our cells. It's very important to have salt. So we do want to have sodium. And then here, this is another some information on different types of salts. FDA and HSA. FDA questions. So we get a lot of questions about the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. Like, Are we compliant or do they approve of us? So FDA stands for Food and Drug, and the patches are not a food or a drug, so the FDA would not need to approve them. The patches are a medical device. From customer service, the company LifeWave itself is approved by the FDA. The patches themselves fall into a category of low-risk general wellness products and do not need to be cleared by the FDA. Thus, the patches are recognized by the FDA. This is the maximum amount of approval needed from the FDA. So yes, we are recognized. We don't say approved because that's not what we need, but people want to know that if the FDA approves of this or what do they think of it. And so then here's a video of David talking about that. And then the other one I lumped in here, because it's an acronym, is HSA. So can my HSA play for this? So HSA is your health savings account. Sometimes it's called FDA, different names, but that's the money that your business would set aside that you can pay for things. So you cannot use your HSA card to buy patches or to buy a package. However, you can be reimbursed through your company. You have to ask your company. Sometimes they don't, but most likely they will reimburse you for that. Patch information. This one is full of information. So anything you want to know about the patches, if you want to send information on individual patches, it is here. It's an all products one. The Elevita one has a lot of amazing information. So as I found these videos, I put them on here because I'm intrigued by these things. This last one here, 29 minutes, this is a very, very, very deep dive into the science behind that. One of the ladies says here, and I've heard this multiple times, that this is the second most powerful patch that we have. And so it's kind of one that you want to know. It's a night patch because it elevates the melatonin. So here's Dr. Jen's view of that, a nice little piece of paper. Here's another one from corporate. And here's the patch study. So very much information. And I hope to have a lot more information on all of these. And as I find them, I put them in there. And then here's X39 and X49 together. So patch information for you. And maybe one person wants to know, what does glutathione do? So you can just go in there, grab the glutathione link and send it to them. So protocols of patching. These are for specific things. This is Dr. Karen Kahn, and here's her explanation of this chart. This is Jen's chart. These placements are the ones you're going to get in the little booklets that come with when you buy patches. And then these protocols are just different things if you have sciatica, what you might try. And this folder will definitely be growing. Okay, miscellaneous ones. I just didn't know where else to put these, but these are really, really good. So someone has slow or no results, there's an answer for you by Dr. Jen. And then Eric Worre interviewed Steve and Gina. And I think this is a really good video to watch just to get to know them because they're not always on stage, sharing the products. This is just them talking. So that's the tutorial for boards number 1. And if you're curious at all about how to build a business, then of course, just click on how to build your business. Hope this was helpful.